think we're live at the Aberdeen, Washington City Council meeting. Not much on the agenda. There's some things that are more eye-raising, so I plan on sticking to that. They do have a presentation at the beginning, so it's a council meeting, people. It's going to be essentially an hour, something like that, depending on how long this presentation is. Nothing too exciting. So I'm going to switch this new microphone, plug this thing in. Hopefully we get better audio for you guys. And then I'll try to flip the camera. Well, let me flip the camera first. I don't know how to do that without hearing it. All right, I think we're good. All right. Audit report up on your website yet? We're changing the website. We're changing the website. Oh, not yet. Okay. You put a PDR in, we can get you a hard copy. All right. Okay. Thanks. And check out how many people are here today. Sounds like there's actually more people than normal, potentially for this presentation. I think they said it's the Gateway Center, which is some plans to kind of build something right near some of the bridges coming into town. And they're going to brief their plan, I think. All right, well, it's pretty exciting to be here this evening. We've been doing a lot of work over the last 6 to 8 months. My name is Ben Franz Knight. I'm the project manager for the Gateway Center project, and it's been an absolute privilege to work on this project and take it from just a conceptual notion to where we are today, just a few steps away from having a shovel-ready project that's going to transform Aberdeen and Grays Harbor. I want to acknowledge a few folks that have participated in this effort over the last 6 to 8 months. We have a great group of community stakeholders. But first, Lisa Scott and Chris Kosky, some of your incredible staff who have to do the day-to-day heavy lifting on projects like this to help make them real. So thank you both for your work. And community members, Betty Worth is here this evening, Bobby McCracken, Drew Garson, Scott Reinman, Kerry Bozeman, who hopefully many of you know. He was the 3-term mayor of Bellevue, 2-term mayor of Bremerton. And this is a project that he passionately believes in. And that is of incredible value and I think a testament to this community. And also, of course, Mayor Larson, who can't be with us here tonight, but has had a big role in this, and Tim Quigg. So a lot of people leaning in, with diverse perspectives to help make this project a reality. So over the last 6 to 8 months, we've advanced the design through the schematic phase. So I'm going to turn it over in just a moment to Matthew Coates, who's the architect on this project, to talk through the program, show you some of the latest renderings. Following that, I'll talk through the schedule. Key next steps, where the funding is going to come from for this project, and then the big context, sort of the big picture. Why this moment? Why this project? And why this particular location? And then I'll conclude with just some immediate next steps and what work we're going to do over the next 6 to 8 months through the end of the year. So with that, I will turn it over to Matthew Coates.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Matthew Coates, as you mentioned, as Ben mentioned. I'm an architect with Coastal Design Architects. We've had the pleasure of working with your community on this project for a long time. 4 years? Hopefully some of you recognize my face. I recognize some familiar faces as well. Can I get a hand showing, just like who has not seen anything about this job? Like how much brand new to you, sir?
Yes, it is.
Anyone else? Okay. That helps me because I want to be able to try to bring everyone, make sure everyone's kind of brought up to speed. The project does go back quite a while. I won't have the time to bring you all, like, for all the history that we've gone through. If you want to talk afterwards, I'm happy to answer questions about that. We have gone through extensive options with the community, going back a couple of years, and ended up with a concept that was, this concept is essentially based on the log drying facilities that used to be built here, and the form of the building is drawn almost directly from that, inspired by history. And the structure of the building is intended to be largely heavy timber with CLT panels, both for the roof and the floor. So we're trying to bring a lot of that local heritage and some symbolism back into the building, and also helping to kind of reignite a future for the community in terms of business, et cetera. Here's a site plan. Does everyone know where the building is? To give you a reference, this is the bridge, Wushka there. This is F Street right here. You see it? And this is where the new roundabout might be going in here. And so this is our building right here. There's an open site there right now. And that is the orientation of the building. So I want you to have that as a point of reference as I describe the layout of the building. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, good. So on the first floor, we wanted this to be really open and inviting. So the entry and this main lobby space is really tall ceilings, lots of glass, full of lights, and hopefully comes across as being a very inviting space, particularly at night when it's lit up. As you come in, there's a central gallery space that would be able to be used for any number of different activities, small events, potentially some historical, art features could be, or artifacts could be housed there as a display. We're still talking with folks about that. Then off to the right, there's actually a actual performance or an event space that has large swinging doors that can either be closed and kind of have a private event going on in here, or they could actually open up and connect directly to this lobby space as well. The same is true over here. There's a catering kitchen and a cafe, so that during the time that there are events, or even otherwise, there could be some food service, take, little sandwiches and whatnot. We're still working on the details of what the food service might look like. But suffice it to say, some sort of food service or cafe in this area with the same sort of doors. So that if you did have a big event, with, a few hundred people, you can actually open this entire space up to that event. You can have your main service bar here. You can have dancing and food, and you're gonna have all kinds of fun stuff there. So that was kind of the idea behind it. This part of the building is primarily back of house utility space. We certainly have your, enough restrooms for everyone on the floor, and then a loading dock and storage area with access from the back drive here with mechanical upstairs. There's also a gift shop or visitor store, gift shop. We're calling it a gift shop for now. We would have some sort of a retail presence there. So, there's lots to be proud of here in Aberdeen. So this is where you could, we could have a tenant that would be selling Aberdeen, T-shirts, hats, all kinds of stuff. I mean, sky's the limit. Again, we don't have that completely dialed in yet, but there's room for it. It has lots of glass. It's immediately accessible to the main entry.
It's also potential for state parks, some of the licensing, those sort of things could happen out of this in addition to the visitor function.
Yeah, exactly. So to that point, like imagine if all the people who are going out to, get gooey ducks and razor clams stop by here to get their permit on the way, and I'm gonna buy a sandwich and learn about Aberdeen and buy a T-shirt while I'm here. So that's kind of the thinking so far. Then I'm gonna switch over here. This is the second floor. So in the center of the building, there are exposed CLT stair treads that wrap around an elevator floor with a walkway that connects these two wings of the building together. Yes, it's cross-laminated timber. So it's essentially plywood, but really, really thick. Don't think about it like that. What's that?
No, it'll be CLT, so cross-laminated timbers.
Not old. It's not gonna be old growth. No. Yeah, it'll have a design flair towards some of the historical structures that were here. So it's definitely not old growth. No.
Harder to come by.
Yeah,
So yeah, cross-laminated timber is kind of like if you put a bunch of 2x6s together. No, it'll be nice. It'll be nice stuff. Yeah, it's great. I mean, those of you who don't know the benefits, I mean, you can get huge spans out of it. It's really strong in terms of structural shear and like lateral load. And so we're pretty impressed with how far we actually. When I show you the renderings underneath, you can see we've got our structural module is 14 feet on center with CLT, so it's pretty good span you can get on those. Pretty efficient. So thank you. Appreciate it. Feel free to, quote me anytime. So then this area, you can kind of see it's across, that's all open to below. So that's all, like 2-story space here. So this lobby will feel really big and open to these, areas up above. And the primary function on each floor is for open office space. We believe the main tenant will be, the Grays Harbor County admin offices. And so it'll be centrally located here in this building. There'll be another tenant potentially over here, hopefully a strategic partner.
Yeah, so some emerging partners in the building, in addition to the retail components and cafe, Greater Grays Harbor Inc. All right, so this building's about economic development on all levels. Small business incubation, potential partnerships with Grays Harbor College, where they're doing some classes, teaching, job training, those sort of things, and some early conversations around the Aberdeen History Museum, that it could have some role or component in this building, which is a great access point for visitors to the county. So a lot of exciting interest, from different entities being a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna add one thing too, because sometimes the curiosity pops up about kitchen, and one of the things that we feel a lot of, questions about here at the city are food trucks. And one of the regulations the county has are, where they're harder to process and permit for, is because there's no centralized commercial kitchen for them to operate out of. And if there were, that is the ability for more food trucks to be present in and around. So that's why I think we shifted more toward a commercial kitchen, was to be able to explore that ability, to be able to provide that central location space for your development of food trucks.
That's good, thank you for that. Thank you. So the second floor is mainly office space, focused on business information and support from the county, commerce. We've got lots of meetings, because when you're having business meetings, this is a great place to bring a potential business owner or partner and have meetings in this building. So there's lots of little breakout spaces where people can meet with colleagues and whatnot, and get things rolling here in Aberdeen. So I want to show you the new renderings we have. This is a view from the plaza with the bridges to your back in this view. And so you're looking towards the building. You can see a lot of glass, a lot of open glazing, and we're looking at using Sierra Pacific's new wood storefront system, which is brand new, and they're interested in featuring it. As well as you can see a lot of, these will be timber or probably glulam laminated beams. And then all of the roof diaphragms, I mentioned the floor diaphragms, and some of the verticals are all CLT cross-laminated timber as well. We're proposing some sort of a masonry product here to kind of harken back to the historical materials we see in the city as well. And this is another view that's looking on the opposite side, just kind of looking at the side of the building. And again, this form, we derived from old, I guess you call it stickering, where they kind of stack rough sawn lumber. And we found a historical photo that was really amazing. The structure looked really similar to this that they used here in Grays Harbor County. I wish I knew. I can show you the photograph. Yeah.
It's historical to modern day.
Yes, I would need someone that knows more about the history. I can show you the photo or talk to someone from the.
Well, yeah, but I don't see no brick on those buildings, that's why it's Presbyterian.
I'm sorry?
Historic, I don't see no brick on those buildings, that's why I don't see no.
Right.
Right there, but look, that's brick, that white stuff is brick?
Yes, sir. That's masonry brick. And it's not white. Okay. Well, they make brick in different colors. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah.
I'm talking about the downtown area back in the early 1900s.
Sure. So we're not trying to recreate the past. What we're trying to do is recreate the future, create a new future for Aberdeen. So
Why do you need the word historic?
there's a reference to the historical buildings that were used to dry lumber. So it's a reference. I'm sorry if that was confusing.
It was inspiration for the form of the building.
Yeah.
That's and designers frequently do that, right? They look back at the history of an area and uses and use that as inspiration for
It's inspiration.
the new structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great word. Yeah. Inspiration.
There were, I don't remember, there was at least 3 public meetings where everybody they discussed all this. And there were a number of options offered for what the building should look like. And everybody voiced their opinion, or actually, we voted, we wrote it down, and this concept was, the community here in Aberdeen picked this concept.
an inspiration from. I'll choose my words more carefully. So, anyway, that's the design as we are. I have it right now. The good news is that we have progressed a long way since we came up with that really loose idea. Now we have a fully blown, like, concept. We have worked with mechanical, structural, electrical, and plumbing, engineers on this building, and have worked through concepts for all those different disciplines. You have a question?
I'm just curious, can you talk about where this is going to be, on the site, the building?
So this is the site plan. So in this site plan, the bridge is right here. Westbound Bridge is right here. And then this is F Street. There.
So when you come across the bridge, you want the right hand.
That's view you see. We've oriented the building on axis with this. And so one idea we had, it's just an idea, like, we just thought it would be really cool. So there's some old bricks, from the old Selmer building, and so we thought it would be really interesting to use them maybe as donor bricks or something in the plaza, and bring back and try to reuse some of those bricks, if possible. But it could be a fundraising technique and something like that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if you're the one that asked this, but most of the people in this room, thank you for your work, right? But, most of us in this room are going to be asked to give input on the state project on the Harris Street Bridge. How, when is it on the bid? We have to definitely look at that.
So it's a really important part of the whole context, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, and the important role that this project plays in it. I mean, it's something we all need to track really closely, and I believe there is a hearing coming up where people have an opportunity to comment on the bridge.
It's more of a,
Great. Any other questions on the design? I want to make sure that's not in
You mentioned the roundabout down there on Market and M Street. Isn't that gonna take quite a bit of the green in that area you got up? Yes, sir, it is, by the way here. That's on,
Yeah, you can
go away, what I call a tree or something.
Yeah.
well,
You'll work on that or what?
so I have a line right here, and I'll draw it for everyone's benefit that shows the plan for the roundabout, if it would be helpful. It's this dotted line right here. So this would be part of the roundabout.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's right, area.
I'm sorry?
Is that the old border area? Yeah. It is.
Real close to it?
It's right there. So are they gonna take out that rental place over there then? Is that gonna be plowed up or what?
Where's Crystal? Yeah.
Not DMT.
Well, what about Bridgeport?
That's not DMT. That's DMT.
I'd be happy to talk about the roundabout and some of the other projects for this presentation, but I'd like to keep it focused on the Gateway Center, I think, since that's what they're here to present. But you can come in.
I brought it up because they agree.
Yeah, it does take a portion. No, it's fair comment. Yeah. Fair comment. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I'd draw it, so you can kind of see it. It does eat up a bit of the green area.
Any other, we have time for like, maybe one more question on design.
How versatile is this building gonna be when it's finished for, modifying it for different needs, like different types of business?
Incredibly flexible.
It's super flexible. Like as flexible as it could be, because the spans are all clear spans. So there's no columns, there's no bearing walls, because of the CLT. This is all open structure.
Okay.
Now upstairs we have some shear walls, but there's clear spans of the overall structure, but we have some shear walls in the core to keep the building from moving in an earthquake. But other than that, it's wide open.
Good.
Yeah.
Just one other quick
Yes,
question.
sir.
On the second floor there, you said
Yes, sir.
that area on the right there is all open to the,
This as
Yeah.
well.
my question is that like a balcony there that you could look from the up
Exactly.
down? Is that what that is?
Yes, exactly, yeah, because you can stand here and just look down.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So I want to take a moment to talk.
Why don't you put a flat roof in Aberdeen, when the Rangers will look, why wouldn't you make it steep?
It is angled.
But-
Yeah, all of it.
Those are sheds back there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this should show that it's a shed roof. Yeah, you can see the angles on it. And this will have a big, what is it, 1 and 12, 2 and 12? 2 and 12. I believe it's 2 and 12. I believe it is. I'd have to confirm that if you really want to answer. Do you have the number right? I believe it is 2. Yeah, we believe it's 2 and 12, sir. Which is.
Is that gonna be metal or?
Thank you. I'd like to talk about schedule, budget, the larger context, and then immediate next steps. So schedule right now, we're right here. First quarter of 2019, we're wrapping up schematic design. We have funding to complete the design for this building and have a shovel-ready project, by the end of this year. Following that, we would go out to bid, and if we're successful in raising all the money for this project, could be under construction at this time, next year, which is really exciting. That's how close we are to realizing, this goal. For the budget, total project budget, about $15 million. And that's a big number. That's $9.3 million in construction. And then that's just the hard costs, right? And you have the balance of those costs is soft costs. So it's the architect, project managers, engineers, permits, state tax on construction, all of those. So a $9.3 million construction project translates to about a $15 million total project cost.
Is that with the purchase of the property in the first place?
Those are in the.
You got it for $1, so what are you worried about?
Good deal.
So I want to talk a little bit about the budget and the various sources. So there's a number of sources. We have a current funding amount of $1.8 million. That takes us through the end of this year and completing design. We have a state capital budget request for $4 million. A lot of support at the state level. People want to invest in your community. Additional city funding and other potential partners of about $3.2 million that we anticipate to round out this project. $2.5 million in new market tax credits. How many of you know what new market tax credits are? Oh, all right, a few people. For those of you that don't and have trouble sleeping at night, give me a call. I will start talking to you about new market tax credits, and you will sleep like a baby.
You're very annoying.
Just let him finish his presentation, please.
Let's raise our hands and put a question.
Or you're gonna be a politician, I go, I'm with you.
Simple question, we want to know how many people actually know what new market tax credits are. It's a fairly complex funding mechanism. At its root, it's about small business incubation. It's a tax rebate that the federal government grants to nonprofit or public entities that are producing assets that will create jobs and create value within a community. And in exchange for that, investors get a credit on their taxes over a certain number of years. So it's a program that's been in place for, I believe, 14 or 15 years. I've done a number of these tax credit transactions very successfully, and we anticipate about $2 million coming into the project through those transactions. And the last piece, and this is really important, is the philanthropic campaign. We hope to raise about $4 million out of the community, private donors, to support this project. So incredibly exciting and a lot of great progress. With the backdrop of this investment, $15 million, I want to say just a few things about the larger context. This is one of 5 large-scale projects in Aberdeen over the next 4 or 5 years. The Gateway Center, Heron Street, Bushcup Bridge, Roundabout, Eastside Mobility Project, and the Gateway Center. This represents, all told, over the next 4 to 5 years, potential investment in Aberdeen, in Grays Harbor County, over $200 million. This is a full third of the value of Aberdeen itself. This is a game changer for your community. At the center of this is the Gateway Center that represents economic development, job creation, visitor services, events, and the reemergence of Aberdeen as an economic engine in the state of Washington. So, a lot going into this. And this is the piece, right, that welcomes people into your county, into your city, when all of this is done. And we're just getting started. So I have one request for the council this evening. We have a stakeholder group that we've been meeting with. We would love to have a city council representative join that stakeholder group. We meet on a monthly basis. You
we don't need to make a decision tonight, but we would like within the next few weeks to have a recommendation and have someone join those meetings as we advance this project through to reality.
Meetings here?
They are here in Aberdeen. I'm based in Seattle. Matthew and Hutch are in Bainbridge, but we come here to Aberdeen for this. Any other questions? Comments? We have some flyers that talk about the project, value of it, and all the various components. I'm happy to leave these here if anybody would like to take them. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to give you my card. Feel free to contact me. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, for the opportunity to present.
Oh, sorry guys about the audio mix-up. This microphone wasn't working, but I had my partner came in and let me know to unplug. Hopefully you guys have audio now. And I'm not actually sure if it's coming through the headset. Usually the audio that you guys get through this is junk, so hopefully it's not. You're really distorted out here on your. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone had their nominations. Close the nominations. Okay. We'll close the nominations. Tammy, I'm sorry. We need to vote, because there's only one. All right, good. All right, Tim, you're president for the council.
Okay, well, folks, I move that we excuse the councilman for a roll call.
Yeah. So we've been seconded that we excuse Councilwoman Rowe. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. She is very, very sick. If you would like to.
I'll make that motion. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we excuse Mary White. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mayor Martin, you just vote there, elected and out of town on business, Karen Rue is still. All right, we move to approval of the minutes, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve this evening.
And I would move that we approve the February 13th and February 27th.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the February 13th and the February 27th minutes. Any discussion, corrections, your pronunciation? With respect to the February 13th minutes, part of the reason they were tabled were for clerical errors. I think it would be in order to accept a motion to amend the clerical errors, for water being as corrected in the provided draft.
So moved.
So, it is been moved and seconded that we accept the February 13th and amended with the clerical errors fixed. Any discussion on the amendment? All right, those in favor to approve the amendment? Aye. Any opposed? All right, now is moved to, we're looking to approve both of them. The February 13th as amended and February 27th minutes. Any discussion? On favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Do we have any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Seeing none. All right, so, there we go. So, public comment, so this public comment period is for agenda items only. The agenda action items were denoted on the evening's agenda by the, indicated by the asterisk. Those are the only items we would like to at this time. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We are also asking for, since I am leading the meeting, I am asking that all members of the public who wish to speak list their name and address. Thank you.
Good evening. You can call me Mike. I live here. I said you can call me Mike. I live here. Okay. I think the agenda item I'd like to speak on is the one on the wastewater. I don't know the verbiage you guys have on it. Stormwater. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and somewhere in that ordinance, I heard verbiage about property owners being required to have permission of the city to trim their own bushes and trees that happen to be hanging over right-of-way, walkways, sidewalks, and streets. And I think that's an extreme overreach on behalf of the city to force property owners to get permission to trim their trees before having to trim their trees.
Where you can comment specifically on the ordinance at that time. I, of course, refer to Mayor Pro Tem Escobar. Yeah, actually, if you would like to, there is an actual public hearing on that item.
Okay.
So if you wanted, you could actually go on the record during the public hearing portion, if you would like to.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah, the agenda that I was able to review audibly doesn't denote asterisks, so I I don't have. Yeah. All right, thanks. Yeah. Okay. Is the okay? Is the website an asterisk item? The website. Okay. I'll talk about the website then. Yeah. So the asterisk thing is actually a great segue because of the accessibility options for people that can't see the website and access the information on the website, which I brought to your guys' attention on several occasions over the last year and a half. And so I'm glad that you guys are trying to make the website accessible so I can actually navigate it. And hopefully you will work it out in, you know, the most cost-effective way. So appreciate you guys. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember my other comments right now, so yeah. No, you're fine. I don't remember my other comments right now, so I'll save them for later. So, thanks. Yeah. So, no, it's not Braille. It reads.
Answered any questions any of the committee came up with, and that was about it. So I would like to begin by making a motion to approve the expenditures and payroll.
Second.
It's been moved in second that we approve the expenditures and payroll. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Roll call vote in favor of accounts payable in the total amount of $1,463,578.79 and payroll in the total amount of $688,447.43. Check numbers 63989 through 64031 and 64040 through 64173 and 24518 through 24526 and wires 1087 through 1091 and 1093. Alstrom.
Yes.
Andrews. Yes. James Cook.
Yes.
Jeff Cook.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Prieto.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Rose absent. Shave.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Short.
Yes.
Pro tem, it passes 11-0. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to reports. I have a report from finance and the interim finance director recommending that the city council authorize the public works director to negotiate and sign a contract with Civic Plus for website design, development, implementation, and hosting that is not to exceed $50,000. I move this report be adopted.
Second.
Then moved in second that we adopt this report. Any discussion? Yes, Councilwoman Shaw.
Is this a one-year contract?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And once it's up and running, what would the annual, cost be going forward?
$8,000 a year, and that's total, that's complete, on hands, adjusting, maintenance, changing things.
We have not entered into an agreement yet, so we haven't negotiated, we have preliminary numbers, but
That's the proposal.
that's why it's proposed.
Councilwoman Short. Okay. Councilmember Ostrom.
I just want to mention, we also had some discussion on this in the Public Works Committee meeting, and I know there was, 4 staff members that served on the committee that evaluated all the proposals. And, so anyway, and they kind of went through the scoring model and kind of unanimously came choosing this company's proposal for the site. I think our website has been lacking, and we're all aware of that. And the, to bring our website up to, I guess, the current standards and maintain it, it's gonna cost us more than we spent in the past. But, I think it's pretty obvious to all of us that more and more of the world, interacts with us and the city through the website. So, I personally think it's an investment we need to make. Also, this company out of the 4, by far was the best for, in the evaluators' opinion, for me, for people with disabilities and compliance of those issues. They also have a lot of, this company has a lot of experience with a number of different municipalities and government agencies and website management. So, I'm going to add those comments. It came out of our discussion in Public Works Committee.
Any other discussion? Oh,
One other thing, the big number we see here is the initial cost of the, design, development, and implementation. And then the maintenance cost is ongoing. And if we have a big, something come up to change our website again, it's proposed in this deal to, just continue on. So there won't be another big cost. It's just that it'd come in under the maintenance.
Councilmember Shaw.
Yeah, I'm sorry I went straight to my questions. I should have prefaced them, and I agree with Council, and Ostrom, and I really appreciated the information that staff shared with us to review about the proposals. That was very, interesting, and I appreciated being able to see it. Thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's all.
Okay, I have a report from Finance and the Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Harbor Youth Soccer Club for use of our facilities. I move this report be adopted.
Second.
So moved in second, we adopt this report. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, I have a report from Finance and the Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Harbor Bay Route for use of our facilities. I move this report be adopted.
Second.
So moved in second, we adopt this report. Any discussion? All approved? Aye. All in favor? All approved? All opposed? All right, so approved.
I also have a report from Finance and Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with Aberdeen Little League for use of our facilities. I move this report be adopted.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So passed.
Lastly, I have a report from Finance and Park Director recommending that the City Council authorize to sign an agreement with Aberdeen Girls Softball Association for use of our facilities. I move this report be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and second, we adopt this report. Any discussion?
Under discussion,
Oh, okay.
we have to go through all of this, regularly in order to fulfill legal means. It's just housekeeping stuff, but we have to do this.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
And that concludes finance.
All righty, Public Works.
Okay, well, Public Works met, yesterday at 4 o'clock, and when I'm done talking, I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Ostrom, because I wasn't able to be there, and he presided. And since the Transportation Benefit Board is something that he's a virtual expert on for us, I just didn't have him take the lead as we navigate that tonight. But I did want to report to you that, the Public Works Department is in the process of, hiring a second mechanic. We used to have 3, we'll have a second one, which, was in the budget and is, won't necessarily come to us for approval, but it is a much needed position that we funded, and I'm happy to see that we're moving forward on that. And the other thing, I think, some of you know that, we, threw our hat in the ring for the AWC appointment. I, applied to be appointed by the governor to the Public Works Trust Fund Board. We tried to make a pitch that rural coastal Washington needed representation on that body, but they gave it to somebody else, so we'll see, try again. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Councilman Alstrom.
Well, thank you. They made a poor choice of anyway, the Public Works Committee, did meet yesterday. Just mention a few items we discussed, and we get on the agenda items, the website, and that company had a discussion about that. Mr. Sanger gave us an update, has been working on the, equipment, rental, operations, which has been mechanics work under, and changing that business model internally within the city, and how the other departments are charged for work, and kind of making that, work better. And, it kind of, a lot of this money comes out of the same pot, the general fund, but, anyway, that it makes sense to the other departments as they send vehicles, and how that's billed, and he's asked for our, the committee members and feedback, and some discussion, and then, kind of glad to see that moving forward. The other thing that we talked some about is as when we created the Transportation Benefit District, we had 2 resolutions, about that, that brought to the ballot, and kind of set up the guidelines for that, and those resolutions were, dated from when it started through 2019, next year's gonna be 2020, so we really need to, kind of combine and keep that, the resolution going forward, kind of spelling out the rules of the annual report, and kind of all those things during those resolutions, so we're gonna discuss that, and Public Works staff will be bringing that, corporate council will get that drawn up, and coming to the city council, so that's in order. With that being said, move on to our first item on the agenda is a public hearing, and this is the date set for public hearing in regards to the 2019 Stormwater Management Program Plan. So I move that we open the public hearing. Second.
So moved in second, we open the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, public hearing is now open. Anyone that would like to speak regarding the 2019 Stormwater Management Program Plan, please come to the podium.
Which for clarification is different than the ordinance later talking about, amending
The
chapter.
Stormwater Regulations.
32.
There are 2 different things.
One is a stormwater management plan and the other is a stormwater regulation.
Don't you love socialism?
No.
It's been moved and second to close the public hearing. Any discussion on that, ma'am? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing on that one is closed. Back to you, Ethan.
Okay, our next 2 items has to do with the Transportation Benefit District, and just a point of note to this, I think it's the staff's plan by, if it hasn't already out by tomorrow, to have the for this year's annual plan for the transportation projects on the website. So anyway, I think today council members should have received that via email, so we're not voting on that tonight, but just making the public aware that if they want, the public comment on that will be at our next meeting, so just that information will be available to people. So I just wanted to let people know that's what's happening there. So we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council pass a resolution setting a public hearing for the Transportation Benefit District 2019 Annual Project Plan on March 27th, 2019. I move we adopt this report.
Second. It's been moved in second, we adopt this report. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
And we have a resolution setting the date for the public hearing for the annual project plan for the Transportation Benefit District for the year 2019, and we adopt this resolution.
Second. And moved in second, we adopt this resolution setting the date for the public hearing, and this next week is, yes, the next meeting on March 27th. Thank you. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Madam Mayor, that would be resolution number 2019-04 for the record.
Thank you. All right, back to you, Mr. Olson.
Okay, and this is the date for our second reading and public hearing on bill number 19-04 relating to stormwater regulations and group care living facilities as it relates to zoning, environmental regulations, streets, sidewalks, and public places, and amending several chapters of the municipal code and adding a new chapter 14.14. At this time, I would move to open the public hearing on this ordinance.
Then moved and secondly open the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Yes, Mr. Nelson, this would be your time. And if anybody else wishes to speak, the public hearing is now open.
Hi, you can call me Mike. I live here. Repeat my comment from before. I think there's a section there that's requiring property owners to get permission to trim their bushes or trees or obstructions that may be overhanging right-of-ways, sidewalks, and roads. So if you guys can look at amending that. Again, I don't support regulations, period, but if you're going to pass it, please at least amend it so that you're not forcing or threatening force on property owners to ask permission to cut their trees. Thanks.
Do we have anything else that would like to speak?
On that.
For the record, we can't provide.
My name's Andrew. I live here. And on that, why would a property owner have to, since he owns the property, have to pay the city to trim his trees or keep his yard tidy? Why would that? I mean, that doesn't sound like America to me. That doesn't sound like it'd be like a democratical thing. It just, that is just totally like Russian. Yet we have to pay to keep our yard up. I keep a very tidy yard, and I'll be damned if I had to pay the city for me to go out and trim my trees and mow my lawn. That'd just be ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And with that, I mean, I think that this thing that you brought up there, it isn't brought out to the city. It has not been put in the newspaper. Logically, that a person understands that. And I think it ought to be put out in the newspaper how that you guys propose to do this to the citizens of this town. I mean, if that's the case, I wouldn't even trim my lawn. I let the damn thing roll over before I pay you guys to trim it. It'd be ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak during the public hearing?
I'm Bob Lastrom, I live on C Street. I got a question. The question is that on this here tree trimming stuff, which I didn't even know anything about until I came to the meeting tonight, I want to know, is the monies available from the stormwater on residences and businesses take care of all the work being done on this that needs to be done? Is that actually monies that's coming from the stormwater fund? And how much do we get on that stormwater fund every month? And what is the gross amount anyway? So I get some idea in my mind how much money is coming in from collecting our water bill for the stormwater. Can anybody tell me?
Sir, this is a public hearing, so we're taking testimony about the things. It's not a time for discussion. So you can contact the Public Works Department if you'd like after the meeting for the information.
Thank you for coming up with that, because I've tried to get an appointment with the Public Works Department through the administrator's phone number in the phone book. And I called last month. they didn't have any meetings open that I could get in to the Public Works Department for another month or more, and they will call me back and let me know when I can have a meeting with the Public Works Director and the city engineer, and they have never called back yet.
Well, if you stick around after the meeting, I will get your information.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to, speak during the public hearing?
Willis Devine, West Second in Aberdeen. I have a request, and that request is that in this matter of, trimming of trees and bushes, because, and my neighbors, and in the area where I live, it's been my practice, and some of the other neighbors, especially in the case that, we have a lot of people traverse the sidewalks and stuff to go to school. And we were trimming those branches and stuff so it wouldn't be a hazard as they hang down the people. And so, basically, I'm just been screwed that, let them hang until the city give us permission to cut them. Most of them grow right at face level, and so we've been clipping those things back. As a matter of fact, one of the neighbors on the block was required by the city to trim the branch on the tree because they said it was an interference with the street sweeper. So I guess I'm kind of confounded now because things that could be resolved very easily, which are safety issues also. We sweep them with one broom. Thank you.
Anybody else like to testify in the public hearing? All right, with that, I will close the public hearing by unanimous consent, being no objection.
At this time, I'm going to pass the second reading of Bill 1904.
It's been moved in second that we pass the second reading. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? So passed.
That's it for Public Works, thank you.
Public safety?
Public safety, met with safety inspector, and, there are two reports, one from the police department, one from the fire department. Police department, deputy chief Steve Timmons' last day with the department will be Friday, March 15th. On that day, he will have served with the Aberdeen Police Department for a total of 45 years. Second item, entry-level police officer testing occurred last Saturday. There were 12 people total passed both the written and physical skills portion of the testing. Oral boards will occur the first part of April. Third item, there are 4 applicants for the deputy chief of police position. Testing for that position will occur next Wednesday. And finally, the Citizen Academy continues to go well. They had a firearms familiarization last Saturday with boys investigations last night. Then for the fire department report, regional entry level firefighter testing was conducted on March 9th. There were 57 applicants who took the written test. The oral boards for the paramedic, firefighter, and firefighter EMT will be conducted on March 26th through March 29th. And there's a new firefighter EMT started work with the fire department on Monday, March 11th, and there's still a total of 5 vacancies for the fire department. And there's one report from public safety, and the community development director recommending that the mayor and city council forward the request to the Aberdeen Planning Commission to look at adopting new regulations from the city of Aberdeen zoning code that define human service facilities and locations of where this can be permitted and report to city council. So I make a motion that we adopt this report.
Second.
It's been moved in second that we adopt this report. Any discussion? Yes.
I just have a question about human services. What type of services are we referring to here? Well, it'd be like, community services tab. Any organization that has human services.
Thanks.
Councilwoman Grant.
I do have a concern with the section 20.870.040. I think it should be scratched. These services in a community of our size, it seems like it's wanting a certain area to have it all pushed off to. There's a lot more people that use a lot of these services than just people on the street. We've got the elderly, we've got, families that are that have been laid off, trying to get their, lives back together. You've got, so many different situations and so many brackets. I'm having a hard time with this. Anybody could, in my opinion, any businesses can say that they think that it's a threatening to their business, and security of their general welfare. I think this needs to be rethought on this. We're not a big, huge city, we're smaller. If people don't want them in one area, they don't want these services in another area, it just takes them to say, well, we feel that there's a threat to our general welfare. So how are we gonna serve these people? I mean, it's such a huge, broad amount of people that all these services do and help out. I can't even explain the extent of how many people it really helps. And I just feel like we're trying to seclude them in an area that puts them away from everybody being able to see them or deal with them. And it's not the case with people that are roaming around causing trouble.
The point of clarification, this is just afforded to the planning commission, not to enact it.
But I just kind of want to let.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
That too.
Anybody,
I think that needs to be worked on.
Councilwoman Shaw.
That was actually the point that I was gonna make, is that I'm happy to have the planning commission look at this, because I think they have a strong track record of exploring the pros and cons, and we are welcome at those meetings. But also, I think I would like to have it go to the planning commission with more of a neutral tone from this body. We've been approached by a segment of our, community to look at this, but the way the, motion is worded, it says with, to look at adopting new regulations, and I think I would rather have this be, not one way or the other, just more neutral. Please look at this and come back to us on what is best, what you think is best for our city.
You can make that amendment.
I was looking to see if it would have a life. So I move that we make it a request that they explore the pros and cons of this as opposed to, trying to make it happen.
Second.
So moved and second that we amend the report to be reworded to look at the pros and cons of enacting this versus striking the new regulation version. May I read what I interpreted to see if I caught Councilwoman Shaw's interpretation?
I do this, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So what I captured as the city clerk tonight is report from, moving to the city council forward the request to Aberdeen Planning Commission to explore, the pros and cons of adopting new regulations in the city of Aberdeen zoning code. Thank you. All right, did we have a second on that? Second from Mr. Fisher. All right, so on this motion alone, do we have any discussion on the amendment? On the amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just say that I'm for this program that we wanted to take a look at before she amended it, was a copy of what Vancouver, Washington did, and then Vancouver, Washington put this exact thing out that you're talking about going through and said, this does not work. We need to discuss, these are people, these are human beings, these are the majority of people that get the services downtown aren't the homeless. They're the seniors and these here are people. So we need to discuss bringing the county into this. They dump everything on Aberdeen, and this is a Grace Harbor problem. This isn't an Aberdeen problem.
It never has been. The county's sitting on dollars. Let's do some squeezing to get the county to sit down and work with us as a team. Thank you.
Do we have any other discussion on the amendment? Alrighty, all in favor of the amendment? Aye. Any opposed? Alright, so do we have any further discussion on the report as amended? I'm just checking, I don't want to miss anybody. And seeing none, all in favor of the report as amended? Aye. Any opposed? Alrighty, so now we move on to special agenda items. The only special agenda item we have is appointments to the Lodging Tax Commission Board. So I will make those. I'm gonna group them together if I don't have any objections. I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Bobby McCracken and Brandy Benerick to one-year terms expiring on December 31st, 2019 to the Lodging Tax Committee. No, I need a motion.
Sorry. Okay, so.
Second.
Second, do we make these appointments? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Same opposed. All right, thank you very much. All righty, so, hold on, I buried my agenda. All righty, so now we go on to public comment period. This can be on any subject whatsoever, but please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I like you, Michael. Hey, it's Mike again. I live here. That was the other item I forgot during the first agenda thing, was the public safety deal you guys just were passing to the planning commission. So not in favor of that, but I appreciate you guys asking for more input from whoever's doing the planning stuff. But I think I agree with Kathy's points about, you know, there are a lot of people that use their services, and even Jim's question on like what services. It does include food banks, because there's several food banks. You know, are you forcing the food banks to move? All kind of implications there. There's lots of services in the downtown area, and I think when it was discussed in the public safety meeting about bringing it to council, I think the council person recommending it was bringing forth a concern to kind of safeguard privacy of people using the services, and I think that's a bogus claim. I think it's actually to safeguard the businesses and kind of make it more attractive to the downtown area to increase business and profits. So that's what I believe that's for. But my comment I've been trying to make for the last few meetings regarding roll call, I've been trying to meet with the different council people for some months, emailed everyone, and I've been trying to follow up. I've met with, I think, about half, and have been interesting and enjoyable conversations, and I extend the invitation to meet with whoever has either outright refused to meet with me or talk with me on the phone, to meet with me and address concerns with what's going on with the city, but to also address that there are people, as the gentleman behind me have mentioned, you guys are supposed to represent the people, and you can't represent the people if you're not willing to meet with the people. So specifically people that either outright refuse to meet with the public or just won't even address me. For instance, Councilperson Rowe, who's not here, she just won't even acknowledge me face to face if I ask her to meet. So that's an issue, and I think I appeal to you to either self-correct and meet with the public as is supposed to be your duties and responsibilities, or to step down. And yeah, thank you.
Again, I kind of like what Kathy said, you know, that we're not a big community like Vancouver, just like Gordon said, is that
We can't compare ourselves to a community that's like about 3 or 4 times our size and try to take on the same regulations that they did. We are a very small community, very poverty community, and we need to bring back the historical part of our community here and not adopt this big society stuff that they do up north or way down south. It just can't be done. We are an old, and we still to this day, still believe in the wood industry. And until we get that group out of our thing, which we should have did 60 years ago, and improve this port over here, where we should have been the #1 port on this side of the state, instead of Seattle, we're never going to get nowhere. But like I said, we cannot adopt something like down in Vancouver, because they're 3 times or 4 times the size of this community here. And we can't take their regulations and everything and go up against them. And I think it's very unfair that we try to put ourselves in that group. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Will Russell of River Road, 98520. So, I've been working hard on a few things. One of them's a creative district. And so we are getting ready to form our steering committee for that. And 3 C's that I am very excited about is, one of them, finding the right champion to bring this forward, because you know my heart's in it. But I've got a big job too, and all of you are probably concerned about that. So I think we found someone that can help us with that. More on that later. Second C is to build capacity so that we have our artists, our businesses, and all the other people that are involved, have a representation. We're working on that. And then the final C is content. So to show the public that we have arts here. We have a creative community. I think I counted 35 businesses that are creative in our footprint. So you can expand your views on art. So anyway, there's a lot to be said, but I just want people to know that we haven't lost sight of some of that. The other thing is, we are a historic community. I'm very proud of that. People come here because of that. This gentleman's right. And we are caring about our vulnerable people. We do. I spent, out of my 40 years in government, I spent 2/3 of that time servicing vulnerable people. But you know what? Sometimes we use the word homeless, and it just washes over everybody. When you come talk to me in my office about that, I want you to define what you're talking about. Because included in that group are a bunch of criminals. And I'm sorry, you know it too. And we need to take some time to figure out who we are talking about and what's really happening in our city. So let me talk to you about vulnerable people, and some of them are homeless. 2/3 of my career, there's 2 things that we were taught by the government, by consultants, by social work people, that best practices. You know what they are? Respect and dignity. So, I'm going to say some things I might leave some friends in here about, but you know what? I want you to hear how my heart is on this. So, respect of somebody that's vulnerable is you don't put them on display on a highway, standing in line for people to watch them because they have a needy situation. Whether they're elderly, whether they have children. I have been in that line. It's not fair. I don't care what Vancouver does. In Aberdeen, I care about my people here. I care about my businesses, and we should be talking in such a way that we operate in a fashion that helps build the respect of people that need services. There are social services that lock their doors, and I can't get in there. Why? They don't feel safe. They take taxpayers' money. Tom, let me know when I'm done. Am I done? All right. I'll continue this another time.
Do we have any other public comment?
April 3rd Ward, and I agree with that, or I don't agree with that ordinance. There are people that use social services, happy community services, food banks, and all that kind of stuff. It's genocide to the poor. You guys are genocide to the floor. You have been. And it's pathetic that you treat the less fortunate the way you do. And like one person said, trying to get a hold of any of you, you can't. You don't return phone calls, you don't return emails. And when I call about the garbage that needs to be emptied at the homeless camp, I don't get any calls. So I blast your guys' phone number on Facebook. That's the only time the garbage will be emptied, is when I blast your guys' phone numbers on Facebook. You guys need, I said it before, you may not like me, I don't care, but I am a resident of Aberdeen. I pay taxes here, I've lived here since '89. When I try to get a hold of you about, something going on at the homeless camp, and you guys refuse to get any emails back or any phone calls back, that just makes you guys look silly. A lot of you, some of you have stopped arguing with me on Facebook, but a lot of you have to argue with me down in the lobby. And that doesn't look professional on Facebook either. So listen to the residents of Aberdeen, because we have hearts, we feel, and we're tired of what you guys are doing. And I've said it before, you guys can do something with Aberdeen, make a change for the better. Instead of doing all this stuff that you're doing, just pissing everybody off, turning everybody against everybody. Make a change.
Do we have any other public comment? Alrighty, city council comment period. Go ahead, Mr. Shea.
On the subject of the regulations for stormwater, when I don't have any reference to what the public was referring to on their comments. For example, the removal of certain vegetation.
If I may, I believe they were probably talking about ANC 12.48.020, the final sentence of which is, for crying out loud. The owner shall not remove any trees, plants, shrubs, or vegetation within the improved right-of-way in excess of that described in this section without written approval from the city.
Yes.
All right. I'm glad you read that, because that says, city right-of-way vegetation is the city.
Yeah, improved right-of-way.
Right, and so it's not talking about the individual's property at all. Nowhere in here is there anything referencing to that specific issue. What it does says, and it's saying here's the owner is responsible for vegetation on his property that's overshadowing and a sidewalk or street that's blocking the sidewalk properly for use. So if an owner did not maintain the vegetation on his property where it was obstructing the use of the city sidewalk, at that point there could possibly be, the city has to come in and deal with it and charge the owner. But most owners, such as yourself, takes care of your property. You don't have that issue. So the reason I brought this up is because I think just reading this section, 12.48.020, it seems to me pretty clear that the concerns that you had at the public speaking time are not they're not unfounded, but you don't have, it's not like you were referring. You were saying we were coming in and gonna make you pay for vegetation, but that's not what it said.
Well, that's the way I understood it, that's,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying,
You need to, let me address your comments.
Well, that's it. I didn't have any reference to what we were being,
what the comment was referencing?
what the comment was referencing to the council in order to look at it, because I didn't read anything in here that coincided with what the
Okay.
concerns were.
Do you have any other comments?
That's it.
All right. Kathy? Yeah.
On that one. Will, thank you, because we're both, have worked in the same, I work there now, you don't.
Council,
But
you're addressing, you have to address the council, not the public.
I want to say that I am in the business of social health services, and, the public is my priority, and it always has been, and, you know, it's interesting when somebody doesn't know what you do for a living, what you do to help the community, but yet, you know, their best thing to do is to say horrible things about you. I'm just gonna say, you know, to all of you guys, I can't answer emails or phone calls I don't get, I don't know how you all feel, but, I just want you guys to know, if anybody doesn't know what I actually do at my job, please come talk to me and ask me, I'd be more than happy to share it with you.
Is that it? Any other city council comments? Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, that there's a program, that started a while back called Family Promise, and, some amazing people around the community, have been working that. And it's a faith-based, group to try to help families, with homelessness. And, so anyway, a group of people have been working that for quite a while, and they've actually got the program up and running. They're sponsoring 6 families, at Amazing Grace Church, which downstairs was formerly the youth shelter. They're now using that as a day-use area for those families. But, you know, and this is a program that's not gonna cure homelessness, but there's some amazing people in this community working real hard, and working with families to get out of that situation. And if you hear about Family Promise or, have any chance or way to support that, I highly encourage you.
Just on a side note on that one, they have a Facebook page, and they often put out their needs for the community. If they have a need for donations or such on their Facebook page.
And it's a handout, not a handout program.
Any other city council people? All right, so I'm gonna take off my president hat for just a second and go back to my city council president hat. So I would like to bring something up to the council. It's something that I've been actually had in my head for the entire 5 years that I've served on the council. We are one of 2 largest councils in the state. We have 12 members, and so does another council. I would like to bring forward a motion to discuss, well, let's fix a motion. I would like to discuss with reducing the council to 7 people from 12. It's getting harder and harder for us to find people to run. We have a number of races that often run unopposed. And I just think it'll be more efficient and a better way to do that. I have, it would have to be an election item. It would have to go on the ballot. It would have to go in front of the people in order to change that. It wouldn't, if it was voted through, it would not change it would not be in effect for 2 years, so it wouldn't really affect anybody that's sitting now. It would be future elections. You know, I know that this may not be a popular thing. I mean, I know myself, I could be moving to remove myself from the council if that's the time period that it comes up, but I just think it's a way to make our city more productive. And so I didn't know if anybody else wanted to discuss it, or if we should bring him. Whoa.
I definitely.
Okay.
Every 2 years, it's front page news in the newspaper, and I gave us, a considerable amount of rebuttal on this issue specifically. Number one, 7 members in a 6-member, 6 wards gives you 1 member will be 1 ward would have 2 representatives, and all the rest of them have changing it to a seven-member council, the magic number would be 4. My point here is, should the ward that had 2 members allied with 2 other wards, then 50% of the wards could run roughshod over the other 50%. They go out of their way to make sure that every ward is numerically precisely, and periodically we do that. This is my main concern. I'm not saying that that would happen. I'm saying it opens the door to make that happen. And that's precisely why I would never vote for a 7-member council. Secondly, we are not professional politicians here. I've been on the council, as I said, for this is my 16th year, and probably my last. And all of the things that I brought here, I thought were to the benefit of this body. One was again, the 7-member council opens the door to what I would consider graft. And anything that would lean that way, in my mind, should be reported. These are my reasons why. And when I gave this rebuttal, the Daily World didn't print a single sentence of it, even though I put it on the record here. That was their choice, it's their paper, I wouldn't point it out. Well, they not only printed it, they printed it 3 separate occasions on the front page in that year, pushing hard. They push hard every year. They came back to me and asked, what do you think about reducing them? I said, if you want to know what I think, go back to the record and check it out. I gave an extensive line of reasoning as to precisely why I thought it was bad. And,
Okay. April?
That's precisely why I think it's really bad.
Sorry, Councilwoman.
I think it's a great idea. It makes it easier for people to work together. On the 7th person, that is more discussion that can be had to decipher how that 7th person, would conduct. But I think it would be a very good idea. We've got a lot of extra people on here, and I think more people would work, more people could work.
You had your time, Jim,
together.
let Kathy finish.
But I think it needs to go for depth, more further discussion. We're gonna have pros, we're gonna have cons, and if everybody gets their ideas together on it and we have this discussion, and how everybody feels about it, we can move further in this discussion. So I'm for it right now, but I can't wait to hear everybody else's ideas on it.
Okay. Councilwoman Alstrom?
This is council comment period, but,
Mm-hmm.
Bring the legislation and put it on the floor, then we'll have the discussion. I mean, that's the process.
All right. Yes, Mr. Cook?
Pointed out, with 12 members here, as I said, we are not professional politicians. Last meeting was the first time I ever saw one ward completely not represented. They were both sick, what I'm saying is, it's never happened before. Generally speaking, one would be absent or the other would never vote with them at the same time. And the odds are, it's only happened one time, that generally speaking, one or the other. If you only had one representative from each ward except for the one that had 2, if any one of those people are absent, that ward is not represented at all. That happens to them, it doesn't happen to us.
Right. Like Councilman Cook finished. All right. Do we have any other city council on any subject? I'm not sure who was finished. Oh, sorry. Were you finished? Okay. All right, hold on. Hold on. Councilman Gordon.
Really, this is something that you brought forward. Let's get into the meeting, bring it to the floor with the passage or how I feel about it. Doesn't really have now, they're all the information together. So we're just John and eating our time and people like us, someone should look for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor's from a ward, so then
Mm.
you have two people from
Correct.
one ward, so.
Alrighty, do we have any other city council comments? Alrighty, so we do have an executive session tonight. I know, everybody's very excited. Hold on. Right, I would like to adjourn to an executive session, recess to executive session to discuss with legal counsel and representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which an agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. This session should take no longer than 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and no action will be taken when we return.
I love liquor.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor? We're so reset.
Hey, Kathy, were you saying anybody can talk to you about, like, you're talking about your social work? You're talking about the social working job, not the council job? You said anybody can talk to you about it. Yeah. Right. But yeah. You invited anyone to talk to you about, or are you talking about that job or this job, or both?
Oh, no, that job, I can't intermingle the two.
Yeah, I know.
And it's really hard to keep separate, so I don't think somebody of the council that actually really knows what I do.
Yeah.
Because I've never asked me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
For that.
Yeah.
They never asked.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they will ask.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, what's up?
How are you?
All right. I think I'm still running here. Let me check the thing off. There we go. I think we're still live.
It's still live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So that was another meeting. I'm going to end it. I don't think there's anything else exciting going on. So, okay.
Hi, Facebook world.
I think this is actually YouTube. So this
Oh,
is a
hi,
global.
YouTube world.
Our Facebook audience is pretty local, but this is our global audience. So.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll catch up later. Have a good night. Come on.